The umpires are out in the middle. The West Indies have arrived, and I can see Shannon Gabriel heading off for the far end, where he bowled so well in the first innings, of course. And it really is, it's a big job for England here. They're 169 runs behind, and they've got some batting to do, not just today, but well into tomorrow as well, of course. So a real pressurised situation facing England here, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they fare. Alastair Cook, well, he's seen it before and he's running out, but Mark Stoneman hasn't. But let's see how he goes. Simon Mann is going to start commentary.
Well, great fun at lunchtime and a really intriguing afternoon session in prospect. A couple of lunchtime sessions actually where you wouldn't have minded if it rained at the start of the afternoon session. You had more of it, but also the cricket is utterly fascinating, with a real test ahead for England. 169 runs behind. Can they get some sort of a lead to put West Indies under pressure in the second innings? Graham Swan alongside me.
Hello, Simon.
Good afternoon to you.
What did you listen to? Ask the umpire then.
Yeah,
that was the best question I've ever heard. The chap from Cyprus, was it Andrew Pepper?
About the three behind the square.
Three behind the square on the front foot no ball. Brilliant. That stumped the ump. That did. John got confused with that. That was a brilliant question. It's like putting a mirror in front of another mirror. Never ends, is it? The reflections go on and on. Great question.
It is amazing with cricket. I mean, the laws are, well, I think they're going to get bigger. The book that contains the laws can get bigger on the 1st of October.
It's nice to hear an umpire sit there and say, we'll just use common sense in that instance.
Why? Do you think they don't do it very often?
I didn't think they realised that common sense existed.
No, well, it's going to be Gabriel to bowl the first ball of England's second innings, bowling to Cook with 3 slips and a gully in. His first ball is striking Cook on the pads. A half-hearted appeal for LBW. It looked fairly straight. I wonder if it pitched outside the leg stump. Anyway, no interest from umpire Gaffney. Of course, a switched end, second innings of the match.
It's a huge innings now, this, isn't it, for England? You think that anything but parity with the West Indies first innings total should give England a lead of 169. Anything less than that is absolutely game over. I mean, even then it'd be...
Do you think England need minimum 170 lead?
Absolute minimum.
Yeah. Gabriel, long run from the football stand end. Cook waits, looks up to see Gabriel approaching. He's with him now, and that's outside the off stump. Across Cook, not that far away from off stump, but good judgment from Cook. And it's through to Dowrich, who's out first ball today. He's not a great series with the bat, and he dropped that incredible catch in the first innings.
What has happened to the catching in this game?
I don't know.
Both teams, but England worked their socks off doing catching practice, and they were dreadful as well.
Well, Stoneman dropped one at short leg, one that as a short leg fielder, you feel you should catch. It went quite quickly, but you want to be catching those, I think.
Absolutely.
Here's Gabriel bowling to Cook, and Cook gets one off a thickish edge that goes down into the gully, where it's stopped by Hope, and there is no run. That one seemed to keep a bit low and surprise Cook, and hurried into his shot. He's just trying to line up. He's playing a few shadow strokes now, trying to line up Gabriel. Went very quickly and stopped, and England still yet to score. And there was the Moeen Ali one, and there were a whole heap in that West Indies innings. What I would say about England's general fielding, I thought it was excellent. Stopping it, in the covers and mid-wicket and that sort of area. There was some excellent stops, which saved runs in the field. But the catching, Root took a fine catch, not that much better than West Indies. Here goes Gabriel, muscular, tall, outside of Cook's off stump, and there is no stroke, and it's through to Dowrich again.
No, we saw 3 very straightforward drops in the West Indies innings, didn't we? By the slip, the keeper, and mid-on. However, I think Moeen Ali's today sort of trumped all 3 put together. It was a real... well, it's unfathomable for Mo, because he's a really good fielder. He's a superb cricketer. He took a great one running back over his head later in the innings, but that was just... He'll have nightmares about that, I'm sure.
Well, it's one of those things that just happens from time to time.
Yeah, but if it's happened to you...
It's horrible.
Yeah. These things happen is no consolation chat.
They are very costly. Gabriel goes in and bowls to Cook, and England are away. He's turning that through square leg, chases after it towards the boundary. I think he'll get there. Cook's come back for 2. They've really run hard there. If you'd had Bairstow and Root together, they might have got 3, but even that might have been pushing it. But England underway.
Bairstow and Root.
Wicket.
You think Root's the quickest?
Oh, Root's not bad. Bairstow's quick.
I could get hold of the timings for all the sprint sessions if you wanted. can tell you've picked one of the slowest people there by a long way. He's one of the only ones I could run quicker than.
Well, he's
very good between the wickets. He's aggressive between the wickets.
2 for no wicket.
Cook, definitely. Bottom 3.
Yeah.
Runs like Woody from Toy Story.
This is Gabriel going in to bowl to him, and Cook gets one outside the off stump, which he leaves, just drawing the bat inside the line. That's the end of Gabriel's first over. England 2 for no wicket, so they are 167 runs behind. I was thinking 200 might be a challenge Chase in the second innings.
Yes,
so if England make, say, 370, then we really do have a game, I think. But
I don't know. So if England make 370, they'll set 200.
yeah.
What did West Indies end up with then?
Well, they're a lead of 169.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, sorry. My maths is all askew there in my head. They need. I said they need to at least match what the Windies got. They need at least 400.
427. Well, that would be. How many would that be if they got 420?
They'd leave with whatever England got in the first innings.
Yeah, 258.
Yeah, that's the minimum for me.
Might take some getting in the fourth innings, 250 plus. Here's Roach going into bowl to Stoneman. It's full wide outside the off stump, and there's no stroke from Stoneman. Rather stiff delivery from Kemar Roach first up.
You've got to remember as well, on a wicket where the spinner would be the weapon in the second innings, without a doubt, because look at the wickets, there's big potholes everywhere, big omelettes outside the off stump for the batsman. So you turn to Moeen Ali, he's just come off the back of got none for 85, his confidence is low. He needs a total to bowl at, because unless he got a wicket in his first couple of overs, he'd have to go defensive until he got his first wicket. 250 minimum.
Roach to Stoneman. It's very full down the leg side. Good take from Dowrich, leaping away to his right hand side. That's say 4 byes. It was fired in full, just down the leg side. Stoneman shaped to glance it, missed it, and Dowrich took off. That's more like it. You saw that drop catch from him in the first innings. Generally speaking, he's been tidy. We've barely noticed him in the series. I mean, he's not been out there very long with the bat.
I was going to avoid saying that, because we said that in the first innings, didn't we? In about 6 balls later,
he dropped the catch.
That howler. I haven't told him you said that yet. Don't worry.
Dowrich in this series has made scores of 4, 5 and 0. Roach goes in, bowls to Stoneman. It's full outside the off stump, just covering the line of his off stump there. It was about 6 inches over, and he let that one go by. Taken by Dowrich again. West Indies not over-attacking. We saw them with 5 slips at one stage in the first innings. They got 3 slips a gully, backward point, extra cover, mid-on, forward square leg, and a fine leg. So a relatively conservative field. Of course, it's not
3 slips a gully. It's attacking field. It's a good field.
I'm not saying it's a bad field. I'm
A
just saying,
big open cover area. So 5 men behind square on the offside.
attempting the drive through extra cover for Stoneman to have a go. He was out that way in the first innings. Roach goes in to bowl. It's full, and he holds the bat there rather than trying the big drives. Comes forward, almost lets the ball hit the bat, a bit like Keaton Jennings. Run away towards backward point. It's stopped by Hope, and there is no run.
Sorry, if I was the West Indies, I'd definitely be tempted to bring my square leg into a short leg. Not that you think the ball might go there, but for what it plants in the batsman's mind, in Stoneman's mind, just to stop his feet moving as aggressively, make him think, what do they know? They're going to dig one in and try and make me pop one up, or they're going to try and get an inside edge onto the pad. Just brings the slips into play a little bit more, I think.
It's a lovely afternoon, the sun beating down. Roach bowls, and Stoneman is off the mark. They're clipping this into the onside. A quick single. The captain's after it and sends in the return to the non-striker's end, and it misses the stumps. In any case, I think Stoneman judged that well. It was a sharp one, but it was to Holder's left-hand side ground to make. And let's have a look at the replay. Yeah, Stoneman home comfortably, and then the ball hit him.
For good measure. I'll tell you what we do have now, Simon. We have the gilt-edged opportunity for one of these 3 struggling batsmen, Malan, Stoneman or Westley. Get 100 now, you're in for the next 2 years, basically.
Cook was shaping there as if he was ready, but Roach set off and then he pulled away. Because the other point here is people might have said the first Test match, well, runs in that game, it was poor West Indies side, runs in the first innings, poor West Indies side. Roach bowls full outside of Cook's off stump, there's no stroke, he leans forward, but in this innings, if you get runs here, it shows that you can do it under pressure in a difficult circumstances against I think, a much improved, better looking West Indies attack than the first Test match. Better balanced West Indies attack.
Well, it's amazing when you just put one key figure in, put Shannon Gabriel in this game. And to be fair, he's not guaranteed to bowl well every game, but he's bowled like a dream in this match. In the first innings, he was wonderful. Kemar Roach lifted his game because of that. He didn't have to carry the whole attack himself. So they both got 4 foot. Like I say, yeah, runs for Westley or Stoneman or Malan. I mean, Malan got that 60 in the last game. It's not going to count for much, like you say. They were easy runs. But a good 100, 140 or something just relaxes the minds of the selectors. They've got the right man. You're in for the Ashes.
Yeah, it was nice for Malan to score some runs, but he did come in at, 287 for 3. They've got 4 slips now. And here is Gabriel moving into bowl to Stoneman outside the off stump. There's no stroke from Stoneman. It's taken by Dowrich. Well, there's a slight gap between the third and the fifth slip. Quite fine. Gabriel 4 for 51 in the first innings, and some useful runs as well. One of those irritating last wicket partnerships. You never know how vital that's going to be in the final analysis. Blackwood dropped on 21, made 49, and then ran himself out. That was a bonus for England. Holder with 43. Hope out to the first ball of the day. Batted magnificently yesterday. Gabriel turns. Goes into bowl to Stoneman, who waits, tapping away, and it's full, it's driven, and it's stopped by Bishoo, scampering away to his right-hand side. Good piece of fielding from Bishoo. Knocks it towards Holder at mid-off and prevents Stoneman from getting a boundary down the ground. He hit that crisply. You feel as a batsman when you hit a nice shot and early on,
none for it.
and you get none for it. What did that make you feel?
Well, the reason I batted low down the order was I think, right, I'll just hit it over him next time. Normally ended up with me being caught.
You didn't always bat down the order, though, did you?
No, I batted high up the order when I was a young boy.
What happened then? Why did you...
I became lazy, Simon. I decided that I wanted to dedicate myself to being a good bowler. So it's scant time spent in the training ground. I could still bat, I just enjoyed it.
Gabriel bowls to Stoneman. Stoneman defends. Plays that to Holder, coming in from mid-off. And there is no run. A huge figure of Jason Holder, who played some lovely shots this morning. Hit 3 successive 4s, and they were all delightful. One pull down to deep back with square leg, one square drive, one extra cover drive. I mean, he looks the sort of player...
Easy on the eye,
yeah,
lovely on the eye.
He doesn't need to slog.
No.
It's good fun when he does, but he doesn't need to. And there were a few wahoos in his innings. You can understand it to some extent because West Indies were sort of looking to press on. That was frustrating England.
Wahoo! I do enjoy that.
It's amazing for a player who's so correct, can score freely. A huge swing every now and again. Gabriel bowls outside of Stoneman's off stump. And Stoneman allows it to slip by to the diminutive Dowrich behind the stumps. It's one of those games. I mean, we're in a situation here where you think, well, it could end in 3 days, or we could be still here late on the 5th day. It's a really intriguing prospect. Of course, to take it a long way, England will need to bat well in their second innings. I mean, Test matches of the past against West Indies in this situation, you'd be thinking, well, those fast bowlers might roll them over. England feel they've got a chance. They've got to get up level first and then press on. Stoneman is squared up, playing that away on the offside, down to the slip cordon. Hope is after it, gets there just before the ball hits the boundary rope, sends in the return to Dowrich, and they are through for 2 runs. Stoneman goes to 3, Cook is on 2. England 5 for no wicket. Nothing flamboyant from these two. Conservative. They are both quite conservative.
Yes.
Opening batsmen.
I say a less flamboyant opening partnership you seldom likely to find. Maybe Marsh and Taylor for Australia back in the day. Just churn out runs, gritty, both of them.
Jeffrey and somebody in the past.
Tavare, Boycott.
Tavare and Boycott opened together. Just trying to remember.
Not since timeless tests were abandoned. No, Andrew's shaking his head. He doesn't even need to.
No, Tavare would have batted at 3.
The minions for that one.
5 for no wicket. Here's one down the leg side. He tries to turn it away, takes one hand off the bat, hits the body or possibly the glove. And it goes down fine. They're through for a single. It came off the bat or the glove, so Stoneman gets an awkward-looking single, takes him to 4, and England to 6 for no wicket. We've had 3 overs of England's innings. Well, in a way, I mean, Boycott and Gooch is a sort of good balance, isn't it? An attacking player and a defensive.
Oh no, absolutely. But we were just on about 2 stoic, strokeless batsmen, weren't we?
More from you, Graham, and then it will be Daniel Norcross.
Yeah, 2 people would be very happy that they're off the field. Stuart Broad and Jimmy Anderson. I think they both bowled well in this game. Jimmy Anderson again with 5 wickets. He really is the best bowler we've ever produced, in my eyes. But they'll be done now. They'll be sat in that hot tub, loving life. Dan Norcross, welcome back, Dan.
Thank you, Graham. Here's Kemar Roach with 3 slips in a gully, and Stoneman clips him away beautifully down to deep backward square leg. They'll get 2, and England will advance with that to 7 without loss. Massively important innings, you'd think, for Stoneman. He'll get another go, won't he? I mean, they'll pick him for the Lord's Test, you'd imagine, as well. So he's not guzzling in the last chance saloon as such.
He's only had 2 knocks in Test cricket.
Yeah,
everyone's going on about him. He should have had half a dozen by now, but they wasted time before getting the right man in to open, in my opinion. But I was just saying with Simon how big a chance it is for him.
Roach into Stoneman again, who drives very nicely. Beautiful shot, very elegant. Just a push, really, an elegant push through extra cover for 4. Takes his score up to 12. I was on for it was 8 before. Moved up to 12. Stoneman with that moves to 9 from 13. I've seen him a bit at Surrey. I didn't see him much when he's at Durham. I saw him a bit this season at Surrey.
Me.
Yeah,
I travel up to the provinces, do you Surrey fans?
It's very costly.
I'm not going anywhere where you don't have to pay £8 a pint.
Yes.
He's a very fine player.
Those are the advantages of Chester Street, of course. But he's got
the advantages of the rest of the country, actually, Dan.
All right. Roach in again. Another full ball, and that's a lovely straight push up to the boundary for 4 more. He did this in his first innings. He pounces on over pitch balls. There's a big gap between mid-off and the bowler.
Well, this is glorious.
16 without loss.
Roach again going very full, trying to utilise the movement in the pitch like in the first innings. Stoneman's very solid. He's no great flurry of a follow-through. Just punches through the line. Very strong, pugnacious type player. It's a gorgeous drive down the ground. The sound it made off his bat as well, those 2 drives. It's almost like a hollow. Oh, gorgeous.
You're very good at those noises.
Cricket.
I suppose you've heard a lot of them.
Normally when I was bowling at people. Yeah, but a lifetime spent around cricket grounds. Yeah, everyone will recognise it. It's like the first time you hear it during the summer. The first appeal you hear.
Isn't it glorious?
Out the classroom window.
Roach is in again, and slightly less full outside the off stump, a little wider, and Stoneman's allowed to leave it alone. Now, Roach is bowling the length that a lot of people were complaining, not least Jeffrey, that Anderson and Broad weren't bowling yesterday.
Anderson got 5 wickets for nothing.
Oh, I know. I'm just pointing out.
Yeah, I'm with you.
This length that Roach is going for is the one that people were seeking yesterday, and I suppose these are the perils, the dangers of bowling that length.
Look, there is a happy medium between fullish and over-pitched. The length that everyone was talking about here, that's over-pitched, that Roach is hitting there.
He's in now. 3 slips, gully, cover point, extra mid-off, driven, square, slightly more outside edgy. They're not sure he meant it to go quite there through a wide third man or a backward point along the ground, but it's his 3rd boundary in the over, the 3rd very full delivery from Roach, and that takes England to 20, takes Stoneman to 17 in his first innings at Edgbaston. This happened quite a bit, and then Roach came. It was over the wicket, wasn't he?
To get that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one thing I like about Stoneman is his sort of character, the way he's batting here. This is only his 3rd innings. He's coming under some unjustified scrutiny already, and yet it's there. I'm going to hit it. Near bother, just give it a smack.
That's very good. Roach in once more, wide of the off stump. He might have been tempted, but he wasn't. End of the over. 12 from it. No, 14 from it, wasn't it? 14 from it. 20 without loss after 4 overs. England trail by under 150. I set Andrew the task of finding me all the occasions in which a side conceding a lead of 169 or more had lost the match. And I
saw your 150 chat earlier was 19. It says just 19. I'd say 19, so it's fairly common then.
Yeah. Well, 19.
Glass half empty, glass half. Glass half empty, glass half full.
That's true.
Andrew.
Excluding the couple of forfeitures that were involved in some of those. There was 13 teams have won from a
So 13.
deficit of
It's
more
getting
than
fewer
160.
now.
No, yeah, it's not rare enough for me to.
Well,
talk
that's
about that.
one every 10 years. 140 years of Test cricket.
Yeah, but that only happens in Test matches. And normally there wouldn't be that much of a difference, if that makes sense. So it can only happen in a game that happens in.
I know. Yes, it is a very good point. It's a very
It
good
is what
point.
it is.
Gabriel into Cook outside the off stump in the channel, stays low to Dowrich, and there's no run.
It's like when I said to Andrew Strauss at the time, I don't get anyone caught a second slip. Why am I having a second slip? He said, Graham, how often do you post a second slip? I said, very good point.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Now, what I also wanted him to do, though, was because there's leads when you're batting first and leads when you're batting second.
Yes, that's a
Because
better one.
You would think that batting second, the lead would be harder to defend batters because you've got to bat fourth.
Yes. Well, that's the whole thing that people still say that. We still look at records throughout time. A test from 100 years ago and still can include it in fourth innings chases on uncovered pitches with prickly gloves and no pads and helmets. It's nonsensical.
Gabriel to Cook. He lets this one go by. It's a little closer to his off stump, but he left it on length as much as anything else, and it went through to Dowrich behind the stumps. No run.
Well, of those 13, 3 have been won by a team batting second and third. In other words, follow-ons.
India, Australia.
Yes.
Yeah.
England at Headingley.
Australia twice, yep.
Yep.
6 have been won by the team batting second and fourth, and 4 by the team batting first and third.
Right, well, England are batting first and third. So that means only 4 times in the history of Test cricket has a side batting
Has a
first.
team potentially been in that
Are
situation?
you happier now?
No, I'm not.
No, still
I think
not.
you're fishing for stat. I'm the least... I'm the smallest fan of stat-based work in the world.
Oh, yeah.
I love Andrew Sampson, though.
Yeah, just to clear that up. He was looking
I
very
love his
wounded
stats.
there.
No, I love his...
Gabriel into Kirk, who gets one down the leg side, and it's spilled by Dowrich. Now, the fielders were convinced there was a bit of battle there. I'm not yet convinced. They come through for a single, and the umpire is about to signal leg by, so he didn't think there was any bat on it. And England advanced to 21 without loss in the 5th over. Andrew.
Oh, you're just saying that, Swanee.
No, I'm not.
But I got that the other way around. First and third is 6, and
There
second
you
and fourth is 4.
That made more sense.
Yeah.
That would make more
Yeah.
sense.
So therefore,
it's much easier.
So therefore, the most prevalent way of winning in this situation is about first and third. There you go, I'm right. The Yoda of stats. Andrew Sampson has proven me right.
Proven you right, has he? Now I'm going to ask how many times the side's conceded a lead of 169 at all, and more. And then we're going to see as a percentage of those.
God,
what the
this
likelihood
is why I didn't even bother doing maths at school.
Stoneman's back on strike. 3 slips, gully, backward point, wide mid off, wide mid on. Gabriel to him, gets a short ball up on his toes, defends it very comfortably up to mid on as a member of the emergency services flies past close to our effects microphone, and there's no run.
Sound like an ambulance to me, that one.
Can you tell those?
No.
The difference
Complete
between them
guess.
and fire?
Didn't sound like the sort that normally chase you in your car.
Well, I'm pleased to say I would never know. As Gabriel prepares at the end of his run. We've got a long leg, a deep backward square. Well, there's a lot of that noise in London. You're right, that's another thing about London, £8 a pint. That noise is very prevalent. Even in Tooting, which was voted one of the 10 most favourable places to live in the world the other day.
In the world?
In the world.
Just England.
I find that, because I like Tooting, but I wouldn't go that far. Gabriel bowls a rank delivery. It was short and wide of the off stump, and it's a no ball. It would have been a wide if it hadn't been a no ball. Umpire Gaffney's pointed out it's also his one for the overs. That was a monumental waste of everything.
Yes.
22 without loss, Andrew.
That's his first no ball of the match after 24 in 13 overs in Derby. 842 teams have had a lead of 169 or more.
And only 13 times has that side won. So it's very rare. There you go. Now I'm liking it.
Let's go back to Tooting.
Well, who knows, I might be going back to Tooting tonight if England were to lose.
Is that where you live? Is it
10
Tooting? In the best place in the world?
Tooting, yeah. Well, one of the 10, apparently. I find it hard to believe. As Gabriel is in, works a ball to the onside, does Stoneman. And there is no run.
I was going to wonder who published these books. On the back page it said commissioned by the Mayor of Tooting, yeah.
We don't have a mayor, although the Mayor of
Well, I know there
London-
used to be a book, and I won't say the word on air, rhymes with brap. Towns to live in, the worst towns to live in.
Yeah.
And I remember Windsor being number 1 one year.
Really?
Windsor.
Windsor?
Yes.
You'd think that would be rather nice.
You'd think so,
on
wouldn't
the
you?
Thames.
I know. Has a
Some
castle.
Lovely
Has
coffee shop.
Eton.
Yeah, the Queen.
That was
Queen
voted,
likes it.
That was voted the worst place in the country. So
Was that
I
by
can
the-
only assume that it was Kingston upon Thames, the mayor who had published the book or something.
Or the
Richmond.
the Roundhead Society, the Oliver Cromwell Society. Gabriel bowls down the leg side, and a flick and a miss from Stoneman goes through to the keeper. No run. 5 overs gone. England 22 without loss. They trail by a snooker maximum of 147. And it's a crucial period in the game, obviously, with that ball being new right now. The clouds, not a cloud in the sky. Good time to bat, would you say, Swanee?
Yes, absolutely. I think days 2 and 3 so far have been good times to bat in this Test match.
Do you think? I mean, okay.
To be fair, day 1 was hardly a bowling day, was it? England just batted
Well,
like trains.
They didn't bat so well, did they? But you'd have probably preferred to bowl on day 1, wouldn't you, than today, wouldn't you?
No, I don't think so. I was a spinner, though. I always wanted to bowl last.
Of course. And Moeen Ali may yet get to bowl last as Kemar Roach starts in the over from Kirkstall Lane end. Full pushed out into the offside by Cook, fielded in the covers. And the West Indies are all together a happier group of people, don't they?
Absolutely.
They just look like a different team. Today when we were down on the outfield, they just
Yes.
they're filled with smiles. And
Well,
we will be, I suppose, the lead
of course, yeah.
71.
I mean, confidence breeds happiness, doesn't it? You've got 2 guys who had torrid times of it at Edgbaston, big hundreds. I mean, big hundreds as well, not just 101, 102, 140s. They're very good knocks.
Kemar Roach is in again, round the wicket to Cook, who defends a full ball back at the wicket to bowler, no run. Was it Steve Archibald who said that team spirit is an illusion glimpsed in the immediate aftermath of victory?
There you go. Perfect. Shattered when you lose.
Yeah. Are you off, Graham?
I'm gone.
You're gone.
Yeah.
You look fine to me.
I won't lie to you, I'm tired. That fight's taken out of me this morning.
Well,
I feel as tired as Conor McGregor.
you were taking every punch. Kemar Roach, top of his mark. Comes in to Alastair Cook, who has 2. England 22 without loss. Full ball outside the off stump, keeps low through to the keeper. And there's no run. We welcome back Victor Marks, who's filled his boots at lunch, I'm sure, after that scintillating RC umpire section. I do find it absolutely hilarious that we get a venerable umpire like John Holder and we ask him to discuss what might happen in the event of someone's beard being so long that it obscures the view of the third umpire. Roach in again to Cook, who lets one go by outside the off stump. Full again, though. Kemar Roach is bowling this length that a lot of sages were requesting of Anderson and Broad, and in the last over he bowled, he was hit for 14 runs by Stoneman. Cook's on strike at the moment.
Well, it's a standard response from beyond the pitch, as if you're not getting anywhere, they're bowling too short. And sometimes that is the case, but I don't think you can be overly critical of Jimmy Anderson, really. Did he get 5 for 70 or 30?
I don't think anyone would be critical of that, no. Roach into Cook, who again lets one go by. 2 wide of the off stump. Not making the batsman play is perhaps a greater crime. And so far in this over, Cook has barely had to play.
I think that's where England struggled on the yesterday morning, when it was doing a bit, and they got those 2 early wickets, and then Chris Woakes, he looked really good, but in fact they left a lot of him and quite a lot of the early Stokes as well. Anyway, it's
ancient history, Rick. As Roach is in again, 2 wide, way 2 wide, and that's just left alone by Cook. This new ball now 6 overs old, and according to the Norcross theory of the ball, which is that you ascribe a year of human age to every over that a ball is bowled. At 6 overs old, it's starting to be biddable, starting to talk, and starting to move around a bit, mess about. And for the next 6 or 7 overs, could be the best time to bowl with it.
Well, it could be, in which case you've got to get him playing. It's one of the drawbacks of having the field he had. He's coming around the wicket to a left-hander. He's got a 7-2 offside field. So you're not going to give yourself much encouragement to bowl even at anywhere near the stumps, because you're worried about being scored off on the leg side. I'd rather have another man on the leg side and get him bowling a little bit straighter. I still think they overdo the round the wicket, actually.
Well, he got Stoneman with the beauty from over the wicket, didn't he? And Shannon Gabriel, he's in. Bowls a short ball, which is fended off with one hand by Stoneman. Not the most encouraging shot. Well, it's another no ball, though. Now, he bowled a no ball in the last over. Now he's bowled another no ball. Are those no ball problems resurfacing? 23 without loss. England as we start the 7th over all over again. Very loud aeroplanes going overhead. We're on a flight path. Would it be Leeds Bradford? I've never taken a plane from these parts. It is. I'm informed. Now then, the 3 slips. I'm waiting for them to get into position. A 3rd slip is gradually sidling rather suspiciously towards 2nd slip now. Gully's in place, backward point, mid-off, mid-on, backward square leg and a long leg. The massive figure of Shannon Gabriel comes thundering in towards Stoneman. Oh, and he gets a thick edge on that as he gets up on his toes, and it just goes out to the offside. He's not looked that comfortable against the last 2 short balls, has he, Vic?
No. That was out of the body. Who's coming off? Jason Holder's just running off for a second. Perhaps he's to get ready to bowl, but that was
hand off the bat.
Well, hand off the bat, and I think it took him on the left bicep. So well-directed short ball, not played with any great conviction by Stoneman. Everyone will be keeping a watchful eye on how Stoneman goes about his business. He's played 3 lovely shots, I was
going to say, though, are we... So the problem that watchers have got with Westley is that they think he's got a flaw you can identify and bowl to it. Now, are we seeing the first signs of a Stoneman flaw? Because he's not been out there long enough in Test cricket to find out about his aptitude against the short ball. As this next delivery is fuller and outside the off-stump shouldering arms is Stoneman. Through to the keeper, no run. We'd be worried about that going to Australia.
Yeah, but although it reminds me of Steve Waugh, who for about 20-25 tests was done. Oh, he's terrible. It's a short ball. He looks so uncomfortable. He did look uncomfortable, but he found a way to play it to the tune of about 150 test matches with hundreds in the Caribbean. So it's not. Sometimes you can look ugly, but still manage to cope.
Well, indeed, he's played them into the ground. The first one, slightly more worrying, was in the air slightly in the direction of backward short leg. The second one, he let his body take the strain. I think the crowd are now starting to warm up. They've been fairly subdued hitherto. As Gabriel is in again, and that's another short one. It's another no ball. And I think he fended at that, did Stoneman. And I think there might be a plan of attack being formulated as we speak. 24 without loss, which might be to bowl it short at Stoneman.
Let's have a look at this. Well, he's
no ball.
He's a big no ball. Other than that, it was a pretty good delivery in that it went through at pace just outside the off stump. And you're right, I think he did kind of fend at it, but he doesn't want to get the batsman nicking those from a no ball. We've got a sort of man back just behind square on the leg side for the leg side hoik.
Not seen the hoik yet. We've seen more the sort of evasive one-handed
I think
shot.
I'd rather have
short
him in.
leg. Yeah, precisely. Curious. Could be proved wrong. This ball, who knows? As Gabriel is in now and bowls full ball, and he's stuck on the crease. Gets a thick inside edge, and it goes past his leg stump down to long leg. He gets off strike. He'll not be unhappy about that. Gabriel, on the other hand, has got a very wry grin on his face.
91.7, that came up on the old radar.
Very full ball, but so they will be quicker. But he's bowled 3 that have pushed him back, and then that one's that is rapid, and he's late on it. He was trying to drive it through the offside, thick inside edge.
They often used to say that dear old Mike Proctor, who was quick against the tail. He wanted to keep him at his end for as long as possible, but he would bowl a couple no balls, almost intentionally bouncers, so that he had a few more balls a bit later in the over to just pepper them up, and then probably come in with the surprise full ball which splattered all through.
Yeah, that's a cunning tactic. I played in a game not dissimilar to that as Gabriel bowls a short ball that goes over the top of middle and off, no run. I was involved in a 10th wicket partnership that lasted an hour and 10 minutes. And the last over was bowled, and the fella ran through the crease. He bowled a 22 ball over in an attempt to get our 10th wicket, with a series of bouncing no balls.
and then the legal ones would be full.
That's right.
With a view to hitting the stumps.
That's right.
And it didn't
That's
work.
right. It did not that again.
Did you manage to get to the non-strikers?
I was at the non-strikers end.
Yes.
Do you know what? I
offering
sat,
very sound encouragement, I'm sure.
I sat down and faced the other way to make it quite clear that
Were
there
you
was
not
going to be
gonna
no run. No. I peered over my shoulder to see what was happening behind me.
Was the other batsman any good then?
He was better than me.
Okay.
That's best he deal with it, I thought. Gabriel wants to Cook again outside the off stump, again taken around about waist height.
Good pace this though. If he can stop bowling the no balls, that's 90 miles an hour. And when you get so glib about it up here, it looks, just looks handy. But it's quite quick.
It is quick. This is what they lacked. Certainly at Edgbaston. Alzarri Joseph and Miguel Cummins didn't offer this kind of threat.
Nope.
And there's still Bishoo on a pitch that's turning and Roston Chase. So England have got a long, long way to go. They're 25 without loss, trailing by 144 runs. A gross, is that right? 144? Gabriel is in to Cook once more. And Cook lets this rapid delivery go snaking by outside the off stump into the gloves of the keeper. The end of a very fast over, contained a long one, contained 2 no balls. England 25 without loss. Stoneman has 18, Cook just the 2. They trail by 144. And after more thoughts from Vic, it's going to be Fazia Mohammed.
Well, the pitch is turning, but I have to point out the spinners have taken 1 wicket so far, which was when Joe Root tried to sweep a ball about 18 inches outside off stump, got the toe ender to the first slip. I'd like to keep down, on the spinner's behalf, too many expectations.
Well done, Vic. Bright afternoon sunshine now. It's absolutely beautiful afternoon here at Headingley. It had a lovely day yesterday weather-wise. It turned out beautiful for the West Indies as well with that 246-run partnership, and it's actually well set for this opening pair for England. Never mind the deficit of 169.
Well,
to really get stuck in.
Yeah, someone like Cook won't be worrying about the size of the deficit. He's so adept at just playing the next ball. I can't tell you what's going through Stoneman's head. But he started quite well. Roach coming over the wicket now.
3 slips and a gully. Looking to bowl across the left hand, and he goes down the leg side immediately, taken by Dowrich, who's had a challenge taking some of these deliveries. In fact, very early on, I think the first delivery that he faced, he almost had to snatch at it, it swung late coming to him. So it takes a while for a keeper coming from the West Indies with not a lot of experience in English conditions, wouldn't have played league cricket in England as so many would have over the years, because that's one of the other things you often hear. I'm sure you've heard this many a time, Vic, about why West Indies was strong in the 70s and 80s, and that was about exposure to county cricket. But even before that, many of them played league cricket all over the place. Full-length delivery outside the off-stump from Roach is left alone by Stoneman and is taken by Dowrich without too much trouble. England 25 without loss, still 144 behind.
Yeah, I mean, they all came. Gary Sobers played in the league, didn't he? The 3 Ws, did they all play? Certainly. I think Walcott and Woakes must have played in the league, didn't they?
Indeed, of course, Frank Worrell famously played at Radcliffe in Central Lancashire League. Leary Constantine at Nelson. Way back when he became the Baron of Nelson or something like that.
I think Roy Gilchrist stirred a few up too.
Here goes Roach and bowls on leg stump, looking to turn it away, takes the pad of Stoneman and rolls away behind him for Dowrich to pick up.
And then in the 80s, late 70s, 80s, when you played against the West Indies, it would be an oddity for there to be in their team a player who hadn't played in county cricket. It was unusual to come across. I can't remember, Lawrence Rowe played the odd game actually, but not very much, but most of them played county cricket, so they knew what they were coming to.
In fact, it was said at one time that, in fact, it probably happened on 1 or 2 occasions that a touring manager would arrive to meet the team in England.
Yes.
Roach bowls wide outside the off stump to Stoneman, and it's taken low down by Dowrich in front of Kieran Powell at first slip, who was one of those who missed what proved to be an expensive catch on the first day, allowed Joe Root to go on to get a few runs. He was dropped on 8, got to 59. Ben Stokes dropped on 9, got to 100. England getting up to 258, but the West Indies still managing to get a lead of 169. They really battled well And despite all of the drama of the morning session, 2 wickets off the first 2 balls this morning, still build that lead beyond 150. Stoneman gets a full-length delivery that he has to play at now, pushes it out towards Bishoo at mid-off, and it remains at 25 without loss. And of course there was the famous occasion when one Vivian Richards played for Rishton
Yes, that's
in
right.
the Lancashire League after his controversial termination of his arrangement at Somerset, together with Joel Garner and in solidarity Sir Ian Botham. He went to Rishton for a season.
1986.
30 years
We
ago.
haven't got time, sadly, to go there, Fazia.
Mercifully, delivery on off stump from Roach is pushed away towards the offside once again by Stoneman. He negotiates that over well enough from Kemar Roach, and the West Indies striving for the breakthrough in the second innings. England defying them with some comfort after the West Indies were dismissed for 427, just a few minutes after the scheduled lunch interval. 5 wickets for Jimmy Anderson, 5 for 76. Shai Hope 147, first out this morning. Kraigg Brathwaite 134, and England 25 without loss.
And what a frenetic morning it was, really. 2 wickets in 2 balls to start the day, drop catches, some magnificent stroke play from Holder and a little bit from Blackwood, run-outs. It's just settled down now, back into sort of proper Test cricket. Fascinating Test cricket, because the match, well, it's not in the balance, because West Indies are ahead at the moment, but the sun is out, no wickets fallen. Stoneman has looked pretty good, and Cook is still there. It doesn't matter what he looks like, he can battle away when he's not looking good. But it's game on.
Yeah, well, here's what you call the advantage of an advantage, because even if England have started solidly at 25 without loss, there's still some way to go.
Long way to go, yeah.
And for the West Indies, it's about staying focused, staying in the game, and not thinking about how many they'll need to get or how many they might have to get and what's going to be a challenge. There's now a deep square leg in place for Alastair Cook. 3 slips and a gully, backward point, mid-off, mid-on, a deep square leg and a fine leg, as Shannon Gabriel rumbling in from the football stand and ball short of a length, and he's mindful of those 2 deep fielders. Almost had to wait on it as it got up to him and just turned the wrist over to paddle it down to backward square leg for the single. He's up to 3. Stoneman is 18 and is 26 without loss.
That was a paddle, not a tug.
Thank you very much.
I recognise a paddle rather than a tug. I was just thinking about West Indians. I mean, the only one I can think of at the moment is Fidel Edwards, who's presumably not in the shake-up to play for the West Indies now. He played quite a while ago, I suppose.
I think he's on a Kolpak deal.
He's a Kolpak now, is he?
Yeah, he's on a Kolpak deal right now.
I can't think of any others apart from Jofra Archer down at Sussex, who I'm not quite sure who he's eligible to play for at the moment.
Well, if you're from Barbados, you could play for anybody, really.
Yes.
Gabriel bowls wide outside the off stump, and it's almost going through low down, almost on the second bounce to Shane Dowrich.
Well, this might be Gabriel's last. He's steamed in. He's bowled more than his 4.2 overs. He's bowled a few no balls. And his asset, you want him to bowl fast.
Yeah.
So you don't want him to be bowling 6 over spells, 7 over spells, unless he's right on top of his game. But you want to be able to bring him back at some point, give me 4 fast overs, and then put him out to grass again.
You know, they've never really used him beyond 4 overs generally because of the concerns about his fitness and not wanting to overextend himself and break down at any stage of a test match. Here he is again, bowling to Stoneman, pitched up and driving into the offside, past Jason Holder. He was thought about cutting it off, and then it went past him, so they'll be able to get 3 runs as it's chased down by Jermaine Blackwood, the man who for all the speed was run out. He ran himself out, thinking he would complete a 3rd run, almost like misjudging his own speed when he was run out there. And in the end, they were able to get 3 runs here, Mark Stoneman.
I think he misjudged Ben Stokes' speed to the ball and the speed of the throw, because I mean, Blackwood is quick, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's from Jamaica, he must be.
And I almost had the arrogance of saying, well, if it's I was at the back of the box and I was going to say, well, if it was Jermaine Blackwood, there's no way he's going to be run out.
Yeah, but he was.
He was.
He was surprised too. I think he probably had another gear, but he didn't realise he had to use it.
Yeah, well,
It's a great piece of fielding.
he's not the first Jamaican to not reach the line in time over the last couple of weeks. It was been a disappointing World Championships for them. As Gabriel bowls wide outside the off stump, and it goes through to the keeper. And in fact, I've just talking with some colleagues. There's real consternation, almost anguish, as how Usain Bolt's international career has ended and how Jamaica finished at the World Championships, and the fact that they were so dominant at the last few World Championships, the last few Olympic Games, and then to turn up in London with all of the history of the historical connections between the UK and Jamaica, and for the farewell of Usain Bolt to actually become so much of an anticlimax, for him to pull up in the sprint relay and finishing third in the 100 metres.
Not even the great sportsman can tinker with fate.
Gabriel bowls a full-length delivery, looking for the Yorker to get under the bat of Alastair Cook. He digs it out and pushes it towards the West Indies captain, Jason Holder, at mid-off.
Well, they can't always successfully tinker with fate. It's one of the beauties of sport, actually.
I mean, Bradman got a duck in his last test inning, so what do you do?
Yeah.
Needed just a boundary to get 100 as a test average. I suppose the 99.94 is probably even more famous than 100.
It'd have been boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Andrew won't agree. I mean, as a statistician, you'd want someone to have a test average of exactly 100. That would be so delicious.
Like a bit of perfection, don't we?
Indeed. Gabriel completing his over and maybe his spell. Bowls now to Alastair Cook. Lets it go by outside the off stump, and certainly the suggestion is that he's used up a lot of energy. By the way, tickets for tomorrow are available. They're now priced at $15 for adults, £15 for adults, and £5 for juniors. £15 for adults, £5 for juniors. Yes, Andrew?
Well, I've actually just been looking at the West Indian players who toured England during the 70s and 80s, and how many of them played county cricket. So there was 41 in total who played Test cricket for West Indies in England across the 70s and 80s. 32 of those played county cricket. Most of the ones who didn't actually play that much for the West Indies, but Jeff Dujon and Gus Logie would be the two names, most prominent names. And only one fast bowler in the nine that didn't, and that was Milton Small, who didn't play very much, got injured early in career.
Milton Small was actually part of the party. He didn't really feature too much in the test matches of the famous, or the infamous, depending on how you look at it, the Blackwash team of 1984. He was part of that setup, played a couple of test matches against Australia earlier in that Caribbean season. But there were a few players here and there who got game. Eldin Baptiste was part of that West Indies team.
He went to play for Kent, didn't he?
Yeah. Part of that team. But you wouldn't think of him fitting in among your grade 4 fast bowlers.
No, but he was the sort of a slight compromise of he would bat at 7, wouldn't he, as well as bowl well, but not horrendously quick.
Jason Holder takes over from Kemar Roach, runs away from us, bowls outside the off stump to Stoneman, lets it go through to the keeper. In case you might be joining us wherever you are, the West Indies dismissed from their overnight to 329 for 5. They got up to 429. Here's Andrew again.
Baptiste is the only player in Test cricket who's played 10 or more Test matches with a 100% record. West Indies won all 10 Tests that he played in.
Indeed.
Just 10 he played?
Yeah, just 10 Test matches.
Quite a lot against England, and it seemed. I remember him most tenderly for the run out of Jeff Miller at Lords. Jeff.
Directed from half a mile.
Yeah.
As Holder bowls outside the off stump to Stoneman, and he lets it go through to the keeper.
Well, Jeff, I'm sure, has forgiven him because he's got a fantastic 5-minute routine describing the whole, which he may have delivered more than once in his lifetime. But I remember watching it live. And, talk about a sprinter not quite fulfilling his function. Poor old Jeff Miller halfway down, recognising that, hang on a minute, despite the fact that the ball is currently 70 yards away, I'm struggling here.
2 slips, 2 gullies and a backward point as Holder bowls outside the off stump. A really good delivery. Touchdown and just jagged away off the seam through to the keeper, and that will encourage the West Indies captain.
Yeah, that moved a long way, actually, like an off break. So there's no danger really of nicking it. But, I remember this, I think 84 probably playing against West Indies at Taunton, and we didn't quite know everyone, and there was Roger Harper there who looked as if he must be one of the fastest bowlers that ever lived, and just seeing the relief when he marked out his run to bowl his off spin.
There goes Holder again with the crowd finding his voice. Bowls pitched up and he's into the drive past the outside edge. That's what he's been looking for, striving for. That was something Kemar Roach, who he replaced, was looking for, to get him into the drive, and the left-hander reaching for it without getting across, and thankfully for him going past the edge.
Well, he was a long way from that ball. His bat was a long way from his body. And he was sort of enticed into the drive, but he wasn't in a good position at all there.
He waits again, does Holder. And he's just letting it go by outside the off stump, through to the keeper. Well, cricket just lends itself to stories, doesn't it? Because you talk about Jeff Miller telling a good story. Have you ever heard Wes Hall coming off the long run about the Thai test over? It takes about 3 hours on it. Every single delivery is filled with as much drama, and you wonder how much of it is made up as it goes along. But it certainly is a fantastic story to hear the Reverend Wes coming off the long run. And indeed, he does come off the long run with that one. Holder completing his first over, again outside the off stump, so he's maintained that tight line. 2 marks Stoneman outside the off stump, and he survived. Stoneman on 21, Cook on 3. England trailing at the start by 169, 29 without loss in their second innings.
Well, it must be hot out there by English standards, because Jason Holder's just tossed his sweater to a fielder who's going to take it off. Doesn't want it even in between overs. He could be quite useful here, actually, Jason Holder. I'm not sure pace is necessarily a huge asset here, unless you're Gabriel. You've got to try and bowl for it. But if you can just nag away, you'll get a little bit of movement here. Not overcomplicated. He hasn't got great pace. He's increasingly actually reminding me of, although he's probably not as good, not yet, as Angus Fraser. He's sort of slightly lumbering, taller than Angus Fraser. But if he starts to hit the seam and bowl accurately, he will be dangerous. Now here's an interesting early move. Not Bishoo, it's the same as in the first innings actually. It's Chase coming on with the 2 left-handers in. There's a certain logic there.
Although Bishoo's stock delivery also will present a
He
challenge.
bowls more often googlies and leg breaks, does he, Bishoo?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that much.
As he's in now, bowls first delivery to the batsman, who is Alastair Cook, played back along the pitch. Shannon Gabriel has left the field after his spell, so we've got Shimron Hetmyer out at cover with the white sun hat. Young man from Guyana, West Indies under-19 captain when they took the title, defeating India in Bangladesh last year. Delivery outside the off stump from Chase, and lets it go by through to the keeper. But in fact, you're right. I just realised I was talking complete rubbish. That Bishoo's stock delivery actually spins in to the left-hander. As Chase bowls to Cook and is on the front foot, pushing it away towards Jason Holder. At short extra cover, immediately signals that he wants Kieran Powell in another position, short on the offside, and he's sending Hetmyer out towards deep cover. And again, it's you think about it, is that conservative, or is that you don't want to concede the boundary? Or are you looking for the wicket? As Chase bowls to Alastair Cook, and he's driving straight out towards Hetmyer, out on the deep cover boundary, sweeping around to his right, gets the single. Cook gets his 4th run, and it's 30 without loss.
Well, people are more conservative with their sweepers now, but what it does say to me is that they think the ball will turn sufficiently that they can bowl at these left-handers without a man at mid-wicket. And in fact, they quite like that gap at mid-wicket. Come on, try and hit it there, because you'll be hitting against the turn and something might happen. So there is an enticing gap there.
Chase round the wicket again, bowls outside the off stump. Stoneman lets it go by, slip in a short leg, a backward point, silly mid-off, extra cover, and cover sweeping on the boundary, mid-on and a backward square leg. England, Sidiate, solid start, 30 without loss. Delivery outside the off stump again from Chase doesn't trouble the left-hander playing a shot. It is the end of the over. It is 30 without loss, and in the bright afternoon sunshine, time for me to say farewell, leave it with Vic, and then it's going to be Aggers as England continue to whittle away at this deficit of 169.
Well, you wouldn't expect either of these batsmen to take too many liberties against the spinners because of the situation. England's still 139 behind. Chase, he's got a little bit to play with. There's a bit of rough outside that left-hander's off stump. The ball has turned occasionally. He bowls orthodox off breaks quite quickly. He's more of a batsman who bowls, I think.
30 for no wicket. Hello, Victor. And here's Holder outside the off stump, and Cook, who's only scored 4 so far, played very patiently, allows that to go by. So the 12th over, so he's certainly taking his time here. My word, Ross's has arrived. It's a mock-up of the Magnificent Seven. I say mock-up. It's actually is the Magnificent Seven, as it should be. The BBC presents, and there's the photographs of the Seven in proper sort of cowboy gear, Stetsons and everything else. In goes Holder, bowls, and that's pushed away out to cover. Very well fielded there. They only get one for this. Nice piece of fielding by Hope. And it's still 31 for no wicket. All I will say here, we've got lined up, we've got Boycott, who looks quite a good cowboy. He could be the Virginian, I think, looking at Jeff. He's all in black. Blowers a bit smooth, maybe, for that. Ed Smith.
Blowers is not entirely convincing cowboy. He's got a silly grin on.
Ed more of a sort of Clint Eastwood type feature, I would say. Michael Vaughan, I'm going to come back to... Alas Smith and Jones, was it they called Alias Smith and Jones? Alas was the takeoff. He's an alias Smith and Jones. Here's one outside the off stump that's left alone. Victor, Casey Jones, I think there.
I'll take that.
Simon Mann, not quite sure what that is.
Well, he's smiling too much.
He is smiling. All I will say of this lineup here, there's only one person who could actually get on the horse and ride off into the sunset, Victor.
Yeah, but not the way you do it.
Absolutely the way I do
Is
it.
it?
Western style.
Western style?
You give me...
Gallop. Would you gallop?
Yes, I've galloped in Western style.
Well, you say that.
So I don't think others will be able to get on to saddle up. 31 for no wicket. In goes Holder. Bowls outside the off stump. There's no stroke from Stoneman. And through it goes Richard Escrit, who presumably is here. Hello, Richard. That I was going to say it's a work of art. I mean, you know what I mean. But it is. Look at that.
No,
it's the cast of TMS in Magnificent Seven style. Thank you very much. It's fantastic. He's a bit. Of course, he did a Strictly Come Dancing, Michael, didn't he? To that sort of.
He looks like he's ready for a hoedown.
I think he did a hoedown, didn't he?
I don't know.
31 for no wicket, and beat Stoneman there, pushing forward. I don't think any of us really knew it was a hoedown until afterwards when he said what it was. But
I think you're a bit too clean-shaven there. Really.
You think?
You're not looking. It's not looking Eastwood-esque.
All I'll say to you, Victor...
OK, just give me a horse.
You pass me a horse.
Give me a horse.
I will gallop off into the sunset.
Yeah. Is that what John Wayne said?
I wouldn't mind sticking Boycott on a horse and galloping off, but he wouldn't be able to stop it. He would just keep going, wouldn't he? Anyway, thank you very much indeed. It's very kind. Richard, good man. And two kids here. Nice to meet you too. Good to see you. Thank you. Excellent. Here's Holder bowling a ball that swings in, and Stoneman left-handed pushes it away down to mid-off where Roach fields. And there's no run. It's been a day of surprises because I've been sitting there behind there researching one of our future interviews for Lords, I'm getting very, very excited about. And a chap came up and introduced himself as Michael Arnold. And he said, I'm from Nuneaton Cricket Club. So we had a whip round last night. He said, I was coming. What charity would you like to give this cheque to? £250. I said, the Broad Appeal.
Fantastic.
So isn't that kind? Nuneaton Cricket Club.
Very much.
Thank you so much. There's a whip round at a dinner last night. Whip round. Boom. So the Broad Appeal is going to benefit by 250 quid. That's for motor neurone disease research, of course. So thank you very much indeed. Nice to meet you, Michael. In comes Chase, bowls. That's pushed away down to mid-off. And they take no run. 31 for no wicket. So England still 138 runs behind in glorious sunshine. And our drone is back. He's hovering there very high above the football stand as Cook forward, ball runs away down to backward point. We had during the lunch, of course, this business of drones flying over somewhere in the West Midlands and disturbing cricket matches. But, you'd have to... I'm not sure Alastair Cook's going to chip one up there.
I'm not even sure Ben Stokes could reach that drone.
I don't think he could. Chase again from round the wicket, bowls his off spin. It's a sliced drive from Cook. He picks up one out there at deep point. And it's 32 for no wicket. They do make quite a noise too. I suspect, hopefully, the noise of the crowd that rather drowns out the sound of the drone up there. I haven't seen many pictures that it's taken yet either, but presumably they're on the telly every now and then.
I suppose so.
32 for no wicket. Chase again, parts his hands, bowls a ball that spins quite sharply, but that's more out of the rough, I'd say, at the left-hander. So collected by Dowrich, the keeper. Heading just about full. One or two empty seats over there to our right, but it's hard to tell if they're off imbibing somewhere. And simply that's why the seats are empty. Now that's better. That's spun from a much better place as far as Chase is concerned and beat the bat.
It was straighter, wasn't it? It was just out. He just about had to play it that. But it turned enough to beat the outside edge.
Turned, bounced, did the works.
Yeah.
Chase again, round the wicket. Bowls, Stoneman lets it go by. He's playing well, he's doing okay. He's 21 not out, and a big innings this for Stoneman, also for Westley, also for Malan. The pressure is on, and this really does give an opportunity for them to seize the chance, make the most of the opportunity that they have to try and seal their places for the Ashes. They've got to produce it here, or England are going to lose the match. They've got some serious batting to do. 32 for no wicket. Cook has 6. Stoneman has 21. Have you seen your picture, Jeffrey? It's one of the magnificent 7.
Just now.
Yeah, what do you think?
Looks good. It's good. Cowboy hat and everything.
I know. So I haven't seen you on a horse, so I remember someone writing to me once saying, oh, it was through the Olympics film, wasn't it? They said, I've only, you really good aggers, you learned how to ride. Could you please teach Jeffrey how to ride, but not tell him how to stop?
Oh, very nice.
Remember that?
I go see the horses when I'm in the ring at York races.
Oh, do you?
And down to the ring, but I stay about 2 yards away. They're big things, and you're not used to them. I remember your wife saying that, she'd been riding since she was a young girl,
yes.
She's comfortable with it, but for you, like starting late, and you see what a mess you made of it. And,
Only once, Jeffrey, because actually, I'm in dispute with Tina Cook, and congratulations, Tina, on your gold medal the other day at the Europeans. Fantastic performance that by our equestrians. But I had a bet with her at the Olympics. She set me the challenge of having to do a horse jump by the end of this summer. Now, I did what I think was a horse jump about 10 days ago. She's disputing it. I mean, it wasn't big. We're not talking Beecher's Brook here. But I think that the definition of a jump is that all 4 feet
off the floor.
Off the floor.
Absolutely.
The hooves are off. Well,
that's it. Then you win.
I think Tina owes me considerably, because she wouldn't have it. She's disputing it.
There's that famous man in America, went a bit silly in the head, billionaire. And he got this biggest plane ever and said it would fly. Well, it took ages. And he got everybody there one day, and it got off the floor and it flew up, not too far up in the air, but it flew.
Yep.
And then he put it in mothballs. Howard Hughes.
Oh, Howard Hughes, yes.
Didn't he? He said it will fly, this huge damn thing. There'll be somebody out there knows more than me.
Yep.
And they'll all say, no, it won't, and this and that. And he said his credibility will fly. So he got them all there one day, and it got off the floor and it flew, I don't know, not too many hundreds of yards, and then he mothballed it.
Yeah.
Credibility done.
Yeah, well...
So you won that.
Well, I think so. And
sorry, Tina, he's won it.
I sent her the film of it, but she's not having it. But anyway, I might try and go a stage bigger next time. Because actually, you want to feel the sensation.
Yeah, jump a long way and see what happens to you.
Yeah, I think...
I've seen you on that horse.
It's not exactly the sky's the limit, Jeffrey, put it that way. Anyway, this is a good start by England, isn't it? Are you happy with what you've seen?
Yeah. Stoneman's played nice. What he's got to do is not get sucked in to believe in. I'll just let him bowl.
All right, let's hold her. After the players have had a drink, by the way, and there's an in-swinger to Cook, who waits for it to arrive and then pushes away from the crease out to cover, and there's no run. He
got 18 runs very quick. Nice shots, everything, and it's easy to get sucked into thinking, oh, well, I'm playing well, and I can play on here and this. Keep remembering, 160 odd behind, and you're only at halfway stage. There's 2.5 days to bat. And you want to be occupying the crease. That doesn't mean, say, not playing any shots, but be playing carefully and sensibly.
Holder again, elbows jutting out, moves in easily outside the off stump. Cook stretches forward and lets it go by.
What they haven't done in recent times, England, and what a lot of modern-day players don't do, they don't occupy the crease. They don't back time, do they? They all play lots of shots. I mean, even our best batsman got a 50, Joe Root for Sydney. And he got himself out sweeping from 2 foot outside off stump. Hard to criticise when he keeps getting 50, but maybe he'd have got 150.
Here's Holder, bowls. Cook lets it go by outside the off stump. I mean, I must say, we were talking about the opportunity for Stoneman and for Westley, for Malan. I mean, they must look at this. Absolutely. Oh, what an opportunity. Because these are runs that matter. England up against it, fighting to save a test match.
Trying to win it, if not save it,
well, indeed,
win it.
But certainly trying to get out of a hole at the moment. But if they can really put an innings together here, that's going to count enormously towards their prospects of going to Australia. Here's Holder, bowls, and Cook leans back, cuts in for 4. Down to the West Stand, the sort of fancy dress section of it. and up some of them get down there and wave and jump up and down and so on. So a nice boundary for Alastair Cook. 36 for no
If
wicket.
I was in the dressing room, I would be just saying to people, listen, this is a good pitch for Headingley. Sun out as well, you don't always get that. That's when Headingley plays its best. It's on the slow side. There's a bit in it for the bowlers with the new ball. There'll always be an odd good ball that beats you. But we can't afford to be giving wickets away.
No.
Like Root, as I said, sweeping, Moeen hitting it to cover.
Holder again, outside the off stump. No, if England can bat most of tomorrow, I guess.
Yes, you need to make them bowl you out, Jonathan. That's what you were saying. Batsmen, if they bowl you a really good ball, you could get that here, 1 or 2. But I used to work on this with England. So, right, 5 batsmen and Ian Botham, that's 6 of you. 2 of you are probably going to get a good ball. 2 of us. We get a real corking delivery, we get out. Nothing much we can do. 4 of us will get in. We mustn't give it away. 2 of us must get 100.
2 slips, 2 gullies as Cook now works off his pads this time into the leg side. And we'll pick up 1 there out towards mid-on. And it's 37 for no wicket. Cook's speeding up a little bit here, but a little more fluent. He took a long time to get going, but is now 11 not out.
The aim is to bat all day today, most of tomorrow, get 400. If England have got 200, pressure on West Indies batting 4th, I think they have a chance.
Agreed.
Because surely, I saw Jimmy Anderson interviewed. I didn't hear our interview, but I saw him on television interview, and he was very honest. He said we didn't have a good bowling day. I mean, he himself bowled beautifully. But as a unit, we can bowl better than that, and we normally do, don't we?
So here's Chase bowling, and he's got away with that. Cook working against the spin. And that was in the air just past the short cover fieldsman. Oh, a bit of luck there for Alastair Cook. He turned the face of the bat, and again the ball definitely spun from round the wicket. It gripped, and that could have gone anywhere. Very lucky.
And I think if they have to get 200 last innings, England have a pretty decent chance.
Yeah. Chase again bowls outside the off stump, 2 wide. In fact, I talked about saving the game. A draw seems the least likely outcome of this game at the moment.
You've got to play with proper positive thoughts that we have to play better, bat better, bowl better, and we could get a win.
Chase bowls outside the off stump.
I didn't say I think that would happen.
Well, it might
no,
do.
not as it. I said the odds are still on West Indies, but at the same time you've got to have some ambition, but some sensible ambition, not silly.
Chase bowls. That's a runaway down towards short third man. There's no run there for Stoneman. 38 for no wicket. It's old Yorkshire Players' Day today, isn't it? Some of the old players.
Yes, they give them a box over there. The club look after them, and the ex-players want to come and have a day at the cricket.
I wondered who was here of note, if you've seen anybody of note. It's Chase bowling with 2 wide again. So he likes the look of the spin, but he's really got to get them playing. John Holder's away. Lovely to see you, John. We'll see you next summer, I'm sure. 38 for no wicket, and a noisy aeroplane bringing holidaymakers back home, I suspect. Makes its way over the ground as Chase bowls outside the off stump. And again, Stoneman doesn't have to play. So it's 38 for no wicket. 131 runs still behind, though, England. Though Cook has 12. Stoneman has 21.
You can't put your money on England because they've shown in the past that they're not great at batting under pressure. Batting second. They've also not shown yet that numbers 2, 3 and 5, to be fair, are not solid batsmen. You know, you're not sure how they're going to play, so we've got some weaknesses that, but it doesn't mean to say that you can't put it right. This is the time. You've made your point. If you make runs now under pressure, that goes big.
It certainly does. In goes Holder, bowls to Cook, wide of the off stump, and there's no stroke.
You won't get better than this to bat at Headingley.
Nope.
You won't get sunshine as warm as this and a dry surface like this better than this at Headingley.
Talking about tomorrow possibly being the hottest August bank holiday day ever, I think, since records began.
Great to be batting Headingley when there's sunshine. Not when it's overcast and murky, no. But when it's sunny, you want to bat.
In goes Holder. Bowls, and Cook actually plays quite a loose shot there for him. Just a tentative prod outside the off stump, no footwork.
The other thing, Jonathan, when you bat in these situations, I've done a lot of these for England, you haven't to get ahead of yourself. You know, play it by hour, like you play to the drinks. Don't play past that, just play to the drinks. Play the ball on its merit. If it's there to hit, play it, but don't go looking for it. And then after drinks, take a breather, then set again, you play for tea. And you do the same after tea.
Holder bowls, swinging into Cook's pads. He likes it there. And flicks away down towards long leg, and they take one more. So it's 39 for no wicket. Stoneman comes down on strike now on 21. Cook has 13. The sun really reflecting off the tin roof of the old stand down there. It was a funny old place to watch.
Coming down in a month.
It is.
Yeah, I just spoke to Mr. Caddick, who's the owner of the rugby side.
Yeah, and down it goes. And goes Holder, bowls, Stoneman forward. I played that nicely. He got that right foot into some sort of position there. Has pushed it away out to cover. No booming drive or anything like that.
I think he said they've got to get rid of the, is it asbestos that's dangerous?
Well,
first. Well, I'm just saying, I'm not familiar with all that, but I think he said to me about the asbestos.
There's probably all sorts in there. I mean, it was a funny old place, wasn't it? You'd have done television up there a few years.
Terrible going up the back,
yes.
up past the rugby seats. And that
freezing
awful.
cold because the cameramen needed windows to be taken out. His Holder, Stoneman waits again and just plays it down into the gully. It's a funny old box. I was saying yesterday, I mean, Fred Truman used to smoke his pipe in there in the commentary box. I mean, I'm amazed he could see out of the windows. Pokey little place. But anyway, it'll be replaced by something very special, I'm sure, for the Ashes Test match here. They've got one in 2019, so looking forward to.
I think it's got to be ready for the World Cup and it before the Ashes.
Has it?
The World Cup matches, we're getting 1 and 2 here at Headingley. We've promised. I mean, the fixtures aren't out.
Here's Holder bowling and Stoneman forward, plays down to gully, and there's no run.
Adams nodding. The World Cup comes before the Test matches, isn't it?
39 for no wicket, and England 130 runs behind. I haven't seen a blueprint of it. Have you seen what's going up down there?
I have seen it, yes. It looks very nice.
Yeah.
It's increased the seating capacity. Take it from what, about 16 and a half now up to 19, I think, 19 something. So it's not quite 20, but it'll get it up another 3,000 seats.
It's a double stand again, is it? So you watch the rugby from the other side.
But we don't want boxes. I think the rugby would prefer more boxes, but we don't get too many boxes. Look today, the top rung of boxes on that east stand are empty.
It's Chase bowling short. It's chopped away down to backward point. Well, that, of course, over there is a hotel, isn't it? I've stayed there. I've stayed there.
They
for
use
your
it as
birthday.
hotel and and Test match boxes. But if we get Test matches start on a Friday, the corporates only want 1 day, Friday.
Yep.
You might get quite a number Saturday, but they don't come Sunday. Look, there's only a third of the boxes used.
Yep. Chase round the wicket, bowls a big spinner, but wide of the off stump. It's quite unsettling. I remember we went to bed there after your very nice party, Jeffrey, your 70th, and we got into bed and there was a big portrait of Fred Truman glaring down on us. It was a little bit off-putting, if I'm honest with you.
No, we give it that specifically.
Yeah, I bet you did. There's Fred staring at us. In comes Chase bowls, and that's steered away down towards third man. They'll get a couple here. Might even get 4, actually. No, well, is it? Nip and tuck. Oh, I think he might just have taken that with him into the boundary. Umpire thinks so, signalling 4. But one of those that really just teased the fielder in hot pursuit.
I was hoping to get him to speak and say, you went some very good aggers. That'd have gone down well.
Well, David Lloyd does a good impersonation,
does he?
Mm.
You know what he's like.
You could have a recording, but no, it was a big portrait. Dominated the wall and looked straight down at the bed.
Yeah, all the Woakes have got one of the famous names or something of Yorkshire cricket. A lot of them.
Was one of you in there as well?
That's
all you want going to bed, isn't it?
I didn't dare give you mine.
Oh dear, portrait of you in there. There's Chase bowling short and chopped away past the fielder again. Out towards the man on the boundary there.
That's his favourite 4 ball, isn't it? Short. He likes to get 4 there, but they're cutting it off with the man. They've seen that before.
Gabriel on duty. Not sure if tea's been settled yet, who I'm chatting to at tea time. Has there been any movement there as to who I'm chatting to at tea?
Yeah, get my friend over there, Sir Gary Verity.
Any former West Indian great?
Get him. He did the cycle race, the Tour de France. And he got the Tour of Yorkshire. He's interesting. He's smart cookie.
Right, thank you, Jeffrey.
Oh, you are a captain?
44 for no wicket. Chase parting his hands with 2 slips, bowls wide of the off stump again, and Stoneman allows it to go by.
Getting the world road racing in Yorkshire as well. Yeah, he's got that coming up. Ask him. Is
it starting off there again? The cycling is still starting off in Yorkshire or not? Is that
ask him. Get him on. He'll tell you also.
Here's Chase round the wicket, bowls, and that's sliced away. The runs here again. Gabriel's, well, I was going to say he's after it. He's not really. He's just trotting round to go and pick the ball up. He couldn't have got there, even if he'd been Usain Bolt, I don't think. 4 runs, 48 for no wicket. Cook 18. Stoneman has 25. Thanks to Jeffrey, I'm off, and I'm going to bring in Simon Mann.
I'd have taken you off long before when you were bowling. Not when I was batting. I'd have kept you on, especially on this pitch and sunshine at Headingley. Lovely to play. Little medium pace seamers like yours. I wouldn't have fancied you first morning though when it were murky. Might have been nipping around a bit.
I'm not sure about that. Was it thanks to Jeffrey I'm off, or thanks to Jeffrey, comma, I'm off?
He's gone anyhow.
He has gone.
He's gone.
You've got 40 minutes until tea. You can behave yourself in the next 10 minutes.
I'll try.
OK, 48 for no wicket.
I love him, really.
Glorious afternoon, isn't it?
This is God's country.
When was the last time in a day like this up here?
100th 100. But this is the time to bat at Headingley.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Here's Holder from the Kirkstall Lane end. Moves in, bowls to Cook, and Cook angles that one away down into the gully. He was looking for runs to third man there, but it was stopped by Hope away to his right-hand side. No run. Cook on 18, Stoneman on 25. Decent-sized crowd in on a Sunday here at Headingley, and why not as well? A gripping test match. It really is. West Indies fighting hard, England trying to fight back. Lovely weather. And you just don't know where this game is going to go. I'm with you, Jeffrey. 200 in the 4th innings. Could be very interesting.
Can you make 370?
Yeah. Holder goes in, bowls very wide of Cook's off stump, goes through low to Dowrich, who takes that in front of Powell at first slip.
Things to help you, Simon. When you look at the scoreboard, 48 for none, great. Keep saying to yourself, if that's 60 for 2, not so good. All these things, I think concentration and a bit of patience are the really key factors for England. I don't think there are any terrors in the pitch. I know the ball's spinning for the spinner, but spinners, it's so slow, they shouldn't bother you if you play careful.
Here is Holder, running into bowl, full to Cook, who comes forward, bat and pad close together, purely in defence. It goes out to cover, where it's picked up by Roston Chase, and there is no run.
And there'll always be one good ball now and again, it'll go off the seam. Well, OK, if you nick one of them, but you won't all nick them. It's my point, 2 of you out of the top 6. The rest of you that get in, make it count. There are no terrors there. There really aren't. There's no terrors in the bowling.
That's scoreboard pressure, really, for England, and also that pressure of people playing for their places. Cook on 18, he's not playing for his place. Here goes Holder, bowls to Cook, who comes forward, places the ball he could have left, but he chose to drive it, but again he hits it straight to Chase at cover, and there is no run.
But it's a huge part of the game, moving up to Test cricket, is playing with pressure, isn't it? Of course you're playing against a little better bowling than county cricket. Sometimes very good bowlers. But pressure is always there. Pressure of people watching it. Pressure of television and radio going round the world about you. Pressure of seeing the newspapers with your name in.
This is Holder going into bowl to Cook, who comes forward, gets a thick inside edge. Might get 2 here through square leg. Umpire Gaffney steps out of the way. They've ambled through for 2. They realise that there's no chance of 3 and just conserve their energy, and that brings up the 50 partnership.
Well done.
First time these have produced that in Test cricket, these 2. Cook 20, Stoneman 25. England 50 for no wicket, and they've got their particularly spectacular fashion, but they don't need to. They've got bags of time left in the game. We're in the 18th over of England's second innings. They are 119 runs behind. If you have just switched on for the first time today, West Indies all out for 427. They added a further 98 this morning, which they did very well to do that, because they lost 2 wickets in the first 2 balls of the day. And Blackwood with 49 and Holder with 43 got them a very decent lead. Now Holder is going to come round the wicket to bowl to Cook, with 2 slips and 2 gullies in, and Cook is squared up by that one. He edges it, thick edges it to backward point, and it's picked up by Blackwood, and there is no run.
He's lucky. He's asking for the side screen. He didn't pick it up so well. He's lucky there is a side screen. Used to play here for years. There were no sight screen and about 10 or 12 poplar trees. Remember those? No, you're too young, aren't you? There were poplar trees.
Oh, no, I think I do. Before they built this new pavilion.
Just
we were
poplar
in.
trees here. We know there's stories about, you know, people batted against Fred and the umpire saying, where do you want this side screen? And they're moving it between me and that mad so-and-so Truman. It's just untrue because there were no side screens.
Andrew wants to say something.
It was 110 balls for the 50 partnership. Just England's second 50 partnership, opening partnership this summer, averaging 22.7 for the first wicket before this innings.
How many 100 partnerships have we had?
For the first wicket, none.
Oh, well, this is a good time then.
When was the last century partnership for England's first wicket in Test cricket? I think it happened in the winter, didn't it? I just remember where. Chase bowls. Oh, that one turns past the outside edge of Stoneman's groping bat. Off break from the shaven-headed Roston Chase, tall and slim, bowling from the football stand end. That did turn, and then
it's a bit harder for the left-hander because there are quite a few footholds there.
Yeah, he's got 3 men around the bat on that offside as well. Chase bounces into bowl, and Stoneman blocks a straight ball back down the pitch. A bit more suspicious after that previous delivery. Both these players and all those to come will know there is something there for the spinners. We haven't seen Bishoo yet, the leg break bowler, but of course with the 2 left-handers out there. And Chase is the natural bowler to bowl at them at the moment. He bowls to Stoneman, who puts the bat there, and there are gaps on the onside, and he gets it towards mid-wicket, and Dowrich has to chase him behind the stumps to pick up, and they're through for a single. 51 for no wicket, and Stoneman moves to 26.
Last 100-run opening partnership for England was in the last innings of the winter tour in Chennai, 103 between Cook and Jennings.
And they all fell in a heap.
And we're still lost.
Yeah. Here goes Chase now to bowl to Cook, and Cook is forward, playing that past silly point up towards extra cover.
You play careful and sensible, spinners not win the game. If you play irresponsible, well, of course you get out to anybody.
Chase goes in and bowls. That's driven firm. There's a lovely shot from Cook. There's a man on the cover boundary who slips as he fields it, and they come back for 2 runs. That deserved 4. That was a beautiful stroke from Cook. A clinical off drive right out of the meat of the bat, and the fielder on the cover boundary only had 7 or 8 yards to go to his left-hand side, and almost didn't get there in time. Is it Gabriel out there? It is. Here is Chase bowling, and that's very full, dug out by Cook towards backward point this time, straight to the fielder. There is no run. It's the end of the over. 53 for no wicket, just over half an hour to go until tea. If I offered you 170 for 3 at the close of play today, would you accept that?
No.
You want better than that, do you?
I want better than that. I want better than that. Grind them down. You've got a great start. Now make them bowl you out. Make them. If you make them bowl you out, they won't get 3 of you out. But you play poor shots, they will. I know every blade of grass on this ground. I've played here 25 years. I played for Leeds before I played for Yorkshire, the club side. I've played test matches here. I've watched so many matches. When that sun's out, you've got to make hay, because you'll get days here when it's overcast and you hunt the ball. Then it's really up to the seamers to bowl you out and you're in trouble. Today is perfect. And tomorrow, Johns, is going to be hotter.
That surprises me. I thought the weather was going downhill a bit. Here is Holder round the wicket, bowls, and forward goes Stoneman, driving to Chase at extra cover, and there's no run.
Can they stop themselves chasing runs, Simon? Can they stop themselves? You know, they get in.
What, the England batsmen?
Yes, just keep batting. Just keep batting.
I think these 2 will, won't they? I mean, they're of that
Everybody has
mindset.
to. I'm telling everybody in the dressing room, I don't want you to play negative. I don't want you to play defensive. But I want you to play with some care and attention to the scoreboard and the situation of the match, and keep saying, we can win if we do that.
Holder to Stoneman, who's right forward, head over it. It's a nice looking solid defensive shot. Goes out towards cover, and there is no run. Well, you've had a look at Stoneman now, Jeffrey. You've seen him bat for nearly 20 overs in the second innings. What do you make of him as the
best of the new kids that we've had? Very early days, but I mean, in some ways that's not saying a lot, because some of them haven't been too clever, their technique, but he's by far better in his technique than a lot of the others we've had by far, and he's only made 20 odd.
Holder bowls to him, comes forward defensively again, plays it up the onside of the pitch. Holder goes across to pick up, no run.
I'd say to him, well played, so far good. I want you to play like that all the time. I don't want you to think that you can come into Test cricket and play shots like you do at Surrey, you know, on a flat pitch against county bowling. Not going to be like that in Australia. They're not going to give you easy balls. They're quick. That Stark is rapid. And Cummins, if he's quick, he's even quicker. If he's fit.
Holder bowls, and Stoneman plays defensively, this time a bit more firmly up towards mid-on. There's no run. Cummins picking up 3 wickets today at the start, a burst at the start for Australia in that Test match in Dhaka. But Australia, I mean, they could well lose that game. 260 plays 18 for 3.
They're not too good against tiddly spinners. They don't play well in India either, so you want it to turn. I thought Bangladesh would give them a run for the money. They're not too clever when it turns. Lovely, isn't it?
Well, the ball is turning apparently. Here is Holder bowling outside the off stump. There's no stroke from Stoneman. It's through to Dowrich. That was the end of the first day in Mirpur, Dhaka, suburb of Dhaka. Bangladesh 260, recovering from the loss of 3 early wickets. Nathan Lyon going past Richie Beno's haul of wickets for a spinner. Second place now for Australia, but 3 before the close, including a run out of Khawaja. Warner's out. Smith is still in. 53 for no wicket here. Cook and Stoneman still in. Stoneman waiting. Holder bowls to him. Stoneman is forward. Holder right on target here, bowling a steady line. And Stoneman seeing him off, playing that defensively towards mid-wicket. And that is the end of the over. So England are 116 runs behind. There are 45 overs left in the day's play. So I mean, in theory, we're only halfway through this engrossing third day's play of a real contest, a real test match. In a way, the first contest that we've had this summer. England 3, South Africa 1. 4 one-sided test matches. This one, you wouldn't like to predict which way it's going to go. West Indies have a chance. They need a wicket there. They'll just be feeling a little bit twitchy out there. Jason Holder, he knows he's got those runs in the bank, but he also knows that batting last, chasing a reasonable score won't be easy. Now changing the field, he's taken the silly point out. With Cook on strike, he's got 2 slips in. Holder himself has gone in at first slip, and Blackwood, who's almost half the size, is fielding at second slip, has a short leg as well. Forward goes Cook, playing that defensively back up the pitch, and there's no run. Sun has gone in for a moment. It was reflecting off the bowler's bald head in the previous over. Now he skips into bowl Chase, and forward goes Cook, playing that quietly into the onside. Past short leg, but no chance of a single. He goes far too close to mid-on. Back quickly with Chase. And whether West Indies feel they're behind in the over right here, well, that ball back quickly to him, and in he comes again and bowls to Cook, who leans forward and off a thick inside edge plays this past short leg, and they run through for a single. The ball goes out towards the umpire, Mr. Ravi, fielding there, arms folded at square leg. He's had 3 decisions overturned in this test match. He gave out the final wicket. Shannon Gabriel LBW to Stokes, who was just clipping the top of leg stump. He must have breathed a sigh of relief. Chase bowls is tickled away by Stoneman. It's coming down fine. It's probably going to be 4. 2 fielders after it. It will be 4. No chance there for Holder and Blackwood. It's a little tickle down the leg side for Stoneman, who goes to 30. And England are 58 for no wicket. Michael Vaughan is here.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is a tremendous start by the opening pair of England. I have to say, I'm bewildered why Holder's not turned to the leg spinner yet. You pick your leg spinner for the position that they found themselves in the test match. Such a big first innings league. There's a couple of plates outside the eye line of the left-hander's off stump.
Chase goes in and bowls outside of Stoneman's off stump. There's no stroke taken by Dowrich.
Roston Chase is bowled okay in this series. Picked up a few wickets at Edgbaston, but you've got to be bowling your number 1 spinner, haven't you, in a situation like this?
Chase goes into Stoneman. Stoneman forward solidly, playing that up to mid-on, and there's no run. It's the end of Chase's overs. How many overs has Chase bowled in this spell? Let's have a look. Is that the 6th over? Well, it may well be. He's starting to think, well, I used the off-break bowler against the 2 left-handers. It might be time for Bishoo now.
Yeah, that's half understandable. I've got a funny feeling that they're using the off-spin because they feel he won't bowl as many bad balls. The leg spinner may bowl bad balls, but he's going to bowl good balls as well. He's going to bowl wicket-taking deliveries. And if I was the West Indies, now I'm just thinking about wickets. We've got to get Alastair Cook out. Stoneman's played nicely, and he's had a good start, 30, but Cook's going to be the real key.
Sorry, Michael. Bishoo in Test cricket, Andrew. How many runs per over has he gone for in his Test match career? It's going to be Holder to continue from the Kirkstall Lane end, bowling to Alastair Cook, and he's with him now. Cook is beaten. He had to play at that one with the angle, moving towards the off stump. And Cook played at it, and it flew through to Dowrich.
Bishoo goes about 3.2 and over.
So how would that compare with someone like Rashid?
Oh, you're asking questions now, Simon.
Well, I just want to... he was slumbering next to me, Andrew. He's having his mid-afternoon nap.
You're waking me up.
Andrew, come on.
3.3 Roston Chase, though.
So Chase actually a bit more expensive than Bishoo.
Yeah, and the closer that England get to that deficit, the harder it is for the leg spinners to get him on.
Here goes Holder, bowling to Cook, and Cook plays it. That was an appeal for a caught behind. It was one of those optical illusions, because as it went past the outside edge of Cook's bat, it just seemed to leave him. For a moment, I thought he nicked it. I was just waiting for Dowrich to throw the ball in the air. Well, there was an appeal from the bowler, and a little bit of interest from behind. And Cook looked behind him there, which is often or can be a giveaway for a batsman.
A bit of seam movement.
Yeah.
Now and again, he gets it perfect, because Jason Holder gets the seam in the upright position. There's nothing on ultra edge. He's missed that by an inch or so.
Here goes Holder, and balls another beauty. Cook leans forward, it goes past the outside edge. Holder can't believe it as it left Cook off the pitch. Just fine bowling.
Just reverse swing.
Adil Rashid 3.8 runs and over.
3.8. So Bishoo 3.2. That was what a delivery that is from Holder. Far too good. Angling in and leaving him. Oh. Well, you're not going to get the wicket with a ball like that.
And it's still conventional swing.
58 for no wicket. Cook momentarily under pressure here from Holder. Moves into bowl to him, and Cook comes solidly forward this time, playing a ball outside the off stump and putting it defensively back up the offside of the pitch, and there's no run. We had a question earlier, and that ultra edge reminded me about whether you can still use ultra edge if you switch off the stump mics, and yes, you can is the answer to that. You can still use it to judge the snickos. We had one who sent in the email with a question. As we were debating this about Stokes' swearing yesterday. And another delivery as Cook caught behind, he's out. Holder has made the breakthrough. It's been a superb over. Great strike for West Indies captain. He's found the outside edge of Cook's bat. Comfortable catch for Dowrich, and that's the wicket they were looking for.